But I decided that under my watch, any such agreements should be subject to the appropriate scrutiny of the people's representatives in Parliament, in consonance with the requirements of accountable governance and the teachings of the Constitution. After all, you, the Ghanaian people, had voted massively for change. Therefore, there was simply no way my government would ever keep hidden from you, the people, agreements of such a nature. I believe that the fallout from this decision only shows the growing maturation of our democracy. But for this decision to be open about this agreement, how else would we, the people of Ghana, have ever known that for several decades, Ghana has had defense and security cooperation collaborations with the United States of America? How else would we have known that in some instances we have provided them with facilities for the movement of personnel and equipment to help some of our neighbors who are facing security and health challenges? And how else would we have exposed the unspeakable hypocrisy of the fraternity of some frontline politicians who make a habit of running with the hares and hunting with the hounds, who secretly wallow in the largesse of the United States of America, while at the same time promote anti-American sentiments to a populist constituency? Submitting this agreement to open scrutiny now allows us to clear the unhealthy fog that has clouded our relations with the United States of America. The conduct of Ghana's foreign policy and its relations with the nations of the world has happily been traditionally above the passions of partisan politics, allowing for the normal differences of approach which will sometimes occur. Our foreign policy has been consistently bipartisan, and no successor government has found the need to tamper with any agreement of a non-commercial nature entered into by its predecessor. We respect the age-old norms of international diplomacy that when a country is accorded privileges and concessions to another, these are not removed or altered by a successor government, unless firstly, the conditions under which they were granted have been reversed, or secondly, there's proven evidence of abuse. My government came to know that Ghana had entered into a cooperation agreement with the United States of America in 1998, 2000, and under the government of my predecessor in 2015. We were satisfied that the conditions which necessitated the agreement, namely the creeping threat to the peace of the region, had not disappeared. If anything, the threat had increased, and therefore the need had arisen for continuing with our cooperation. No suggestion had ever been made that the United States of America had abused any of the privileges or concessions granted under any of these agreements, and it would have thus been deemed an unfriendly act to attempt to deny them any concession granted them under these agreements. Fellow Ghanaians, above everything else, the crux of the matter is this: Ghana has built a formidable reputation for its contribution to peacekeeping around the world. Although these peacekeeping operations have always been under the aegis of the United Nations, no one doubts the fact that they have been made possible by the contributions largely of the United States of America. The cooperation agreement which has subsisted, which we have approved, can only enhance the global effort to preserve the peace in our region. It is important also to state that the conditions